I'm Mary Watkins, and when I was first introduced to Peace, I lived on Dellwood, which is just a few blocks over. When North Maple Park, as it was called then, came in, there was some controversy about it. So a number of the neighbors decided to make the transition as easy and as welcoming as possible. So we started coffee sips, and we met with the parents from North Maple Park and with our neighborhood. And we get together in the mornings and bring the little children and have coffee and talk and try to get to know each other.
You know, that foundation that was put together by those families. I've had great conversations with some of the people who were kids at that time and their parents who lived at North Maple, and parents, of course, who lived in the other parts of the neighborhood, and that coming together at those coffee sips and that desire to want to talk about commonalities.
Exactly.
You just mentioned it a little bit ago when you said mothers got together and we talked about what mothers talked about.
That's right. It was no big deal.
Everything was in common. They
Sure.
all had kids. They all had the same kind of issues and problems, trying to figure out what was best for their kids.
That's right.
And out of that came this desire to start Peace.
Yep.
And that was fantastic. And we're celebrating 50 years because of your efforts and the efforts of all those other people that you
yours.
mentioned. And you know,
Little by little.
Yeah.
And nobody thought we were doing anything special.
Exactly.
It wasn't. It was just normal.
And look at how many lives it's changed and assisted.
When we moved to the community, there was nothing for the African American children to do in this community, and so there was a big push for this center. And it came to fruition, and it was great. My siblings, we all came here. We had parties at Peace, and yes, after school lunch, and all kinds of great things for the children. Peace brought a lot to this whole community. It bridged the gap between the African American community and the white community.
My grandmother was one of the first families that was involved in Peace Neighborhood Center. And I was the third generation. My grandson's here, my daughter came, my kids came here, all 4 generations, 5 generations. I saw my grandmother, Bessie Damron. I saw Miss Bertha Pryor. I saw Rose, Miss Rose Martin.
I hope we don't forget Rose Martin and this 50th anniversary. She was a very inspirational leader for Peace for so long.
Oh gosh, what can we say about Rose? She was just a gift from God, and she was always funny. She told stories.
After Linda Solomon, Rose Martin came, and so she hired me to work for Peace. I worked after school. You know, even after I had my first child, Rose continued to help. Peace has always been a part of my life. I was thinking about Rose the other day and how great she was. She did a lot for us. She took me to the Gandy Dancer. I went to the Gandy Dancer for the very first time with Rose, yeah.
I was driving down Maple, and Rose was helping people return to society and was having a garage sale. And I stopped because Roddy had mentioned it, and Rose was selling rib sandwiches. I bought a rib sandwich, and then I said, Rose, how many do you have left, and what would it cost for me to take them all? And I bought them all. They were that good.
My mother hosted a bridal shower for me here in Ann Arbor. And though she wasn't able to make it to the shower, I was so thrilled to find among my gifts a cookbook from Rose. And Rose is famous for cooking, but Rose is also famous for making sure that people have meals. And I don't think Rose necessarily knew from me, but she may have heard from my mother that I was, and may still be, a terrible cook. So to have Rose gift me with a cookbook, I didn't take as something that was against my, wannabe feminist ideas of who I was going to be as someone's wife and partner. I took it more as, like, Rose always knows what I need.
So I actually met Rose because my mom was getting out of prison, and she wanted someone to help her get her life on track. And she met my grandmother, told her, if you go to Rose Martin, you hang on to her like glue. And that's how I met Rose. I stayed the night at her house. She was monitoring a visit with me and my sister and brothers with my mom. I mean, I had a foster family growing up and all that, and that was fine. But I didn't really learn about life until Rose Martin. She taught me how to be honest. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. She taught me when trouble comes, you don't go. And you don't let nobody talk you into doing something. So I think it's just the many lessons like that that keeps me grounded.
What did I learn from her? I don't know. It's just what you learn from each other. Just how to be a good person and an honest and sincere person.
It's just that I miss her so much, but I always hold on to the memories.
And Rose Martin, who really for 30 years was the guiding light and continues to be the guiding light for all of us here. So
She still is my guiding light.
yeah, you know.